Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the PAX Hospitality Podcast in the form of a happy hour episode.
I realised ironically the other day that the happy hour episodes are 30 minutes.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I've noticed about what we've called this and what the actual nature of it is. Yes, that's one of them for sure.
We're really nailing it out here.
That's it. How's your week been, MB?
Week's been awesome.
Good.
Great, but then at the same time, it's like we're already at the end of the year. I went to two Christmas parties yesterday, like work-related Christmas parties. And I was like, oh my God, like how is this already happening?
Yes.
So I think I'm going to go hard on the next 2 weeks of any of those things, and then come mid-December, I'm going to probably tap out of all of them.
Yeah, that's it.
And the incessant need for people to say,
we
have to catch up before the end of the year. It's like, no, we don't. If we haven't found time throughout the year to catch up, it can wait till Jan.
What brings that on?
Because Christmas
the 31st
is this
of
barrier.
December?
Yeah, being like, oh my God, I need to get everything done. And like everyone's pressure gauge goes up by 1 million. And it's just like, it doesn't need to be like that, guys.
Yeah. Can you get it done before Christmas is what every tradie is hearing right now as well.
So if there's one piece of advice I'd give to anyone that might be listening to this is it's okay to say no.
That's right.
Just be like, nah, let's do Jan.
Yeah.
Let's do Feb.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Anything that is sort of half planned before the end of the year, though, is completely off the cards on the 1st of Jan anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like when you say that,
reset.
It's like,
you reset that
See
shit.
you later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you're not even one of my friends.
Are we even mates?
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, if you're a really good mate, you know that everyone's got the pressure. So just be like, hey, love ya.
Yeah.
Let's catch
I'm
up.
not going to see you for another year.
Yeah, see you next year.
Oh,
fuck. When do you...
I do that to people all the time.
Oh, you're old, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was just going to say that's what old people do. And then you said you do it all the time. I was like, really?
At least it's true, though. It's true with a lot of people. All right.
Just quick, one last tangent. When can you stop saying Happy New Year? Quick. As I said, quick.
Like maybe.
What's the date?
2 weeks in max.
14th.
Yeah, no, that's 2. 1 week.
1 week. Okay. Yeah. I was getting Feb 1 people saying it.
No.
Get out of town.
Yeah. Year's over by then.
Should we talk about what we're talking about?
Yes, you talk about what we're talking about.
So a couple of weeks ago, an article came out on A+. If you haven't been on A+, some great industry-based content headed up by Besha Rodell and the Right Angle team. They released an article called Take 2, where the whole premise of the article is about flipping existing restaurants. And doing the turn when things aren't going your way. And I don't want to sit here and dissect the article itself because everyone can jump on and read that. We'll put it in the show notes. When I say we, I mean Tim Varney will. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I just it prompted a lot of conversation. I actually had one of our PAX clients email me the article saying, hey, did you see this? What do you think? And then it basically meant we had a bit of an email exchange on our thoughts on it and that sort of thing. And then even internally at PAX, we had started having a conversation as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought it'd be a great opportunity for you and I to.
I will say straight up that I actually really enjoyed reading it. It was
really well put together.
Yeah.
Awesome work.
Yeah.
And great references and good quotes from great people in the industry through it as well. So I think for us, I'd love to chat through kind of our thoughts on it and where we think the industry's at and why people are having to do it and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but for me, a big theme I got out of it was this idea of like the art of failing. And I think, I said I didn't want to dissect it, but I think Alejandro from...
We're going to do it.
We're going to end up accidentally doing it. Alejandro from Farmer's Daughters referenced a like Roger Federer sort of quote about, look at all of his games through his career, and he lost like 50% of his points or something, and he's still like the GOAT, right?
Yeah.
So taking that thought process is like the art of failing, that it's okay to fail if you're on the journey to success, right? And I think a lot of the time people see failure in our industry as such a blight on what you do, and suddenly it's like, I want to hide from it, I want to disassociate from it if I've been involved, all this sort of thing. And I think the strength in owning that failure, being like, oh, we didn't get it right, like it's okay.
Yeah.
And also caveat, the hardest market I've seen in hospitality at the same time.
Yes.
So it's not like we're in boom times and you threw a dart at the board and you missed when you should have easily hit.
Yes.
It's like, it's hard. It's really hard to get right.
Correct.
And even the people quoted through it are really seasoned restaurateurs that still had to change their venues. So
do you think it's the more seasoned restaurateurs and operators that through experience and maybe previous lower profile failures are able to digest it all a little bit easier?
And be able to do it?
Because there's a bank of success that already sits with them.
Yeah. That you can build on, right?
Yeah.
And they've had the failures that are less talked about and that sort of thing. And they've got, a group of restaurants that some might be doing quite well. So they have the ability in the team and the wherewithal to go and go, you know what, let's just change it.
Yeah.
Right. And we hear more about those high profile restaurant flips than we do about the lower profile ones, because the low profile ones don't flip, they close a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So there's less references to point to about venues that, someone that it's their first venue and it didn't quite work out. They didn't have the capital to hold on another 6 months to give something else a crack.
No, they put everything into it.
Exactly. And if you haven't had the experience or, again, the capital to back you to do the flip, then you have to close.
Yeah.
So I think for me, looking at those, restaurateurs that have to flip, the seasoned ones, and then people throw shade at them, it's like, well, what? Like, why? Like, everyone has the ability to succeed and fail, and they might have 10 venues and one didn't go to plan. Still a pretty good hit rate in my mind.
Oh yeah.
And like, you look at some of the the best quote unquote best restaurateurs in Australia, they still have failures.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, that should just show that even when you've got the capital and you've got the team and you have the talent and probably a pretty good deal with the landlord, that it can still go wrong.
There's probably a bit of tall poppy syndrome stuff that comes into play here. That's a very Australian attribute, I guess. I think when you see it happen to nice people or good businesses, it's a little bit different than when it happens to people who aren't nice, have been have been exposed in some way.
Yeah,
that's when it's a little bit easier to sort of
shun.
You don't want to laugh in their face because it's not nice for the people associated with it. But
it's easier for people to point at and be like, "Yeah, I'm happy that venue failed," right? And I think the sad thing about that, it's really counterintuitive to the success of the overall industry, because as you kind of touched on, then you're clapping at the failure of someone, and if you don't like that person or that overall business, that's up to you. However, they have employees.
That's right.
They have suppliers. They have other external services that they have to pay back. And sometimes that doesn't always happen. So when you're applauding failure at any level, you're actually applauding people potentially not getting paid as employees and the onward effect of that. I was talking to someone the other day about a business that was going into administration, and it's like, that one venue group or one business could account for 200 stakeholders, not including staff, just like all the little farms that supply them, the seafood supplier, the butcher, the 50 wine suppliers or more. Like, it's so many people that get affected by this. And I think this idea of, applauding or being okay with this sort of stuff is so untoward. Like, I can't stomach it.
We're talking a lot about actually sort of wrapping things up and closing a venue or closing a business and saying, that's it, I'm done, in whatever sort of sense you're leaving it in.
Yeah.
But the article obviously is talking about, take two. What's the pivot? What do you move to?
Yeah.
Do you have the luxury, the resources to be able to do that? That's another big ticket thing that's part of this article is most examples here have that ability to be able to do it. And in various versions of that as well.
Yeah, totally. I think the biggest thing is having the confidence to make the call early is a big one.
The timeline is really interesting to me as well. One of the points made is by somebody is the sort of Seinfeld situation where for the first 2 to 3 seasons it was a flop. It didn't work, but
it got given the time.
Back in the day, it got given the time to be able to become, the biggest sitcom ever.
Yeah,
whereas
impossible now.
Right now, it doesn't happen in TV. It certainly doesn't seem to happen in restaurants.
Yeah.
So are we pivoting too quickly? We obviously don't have the opportunity to continue and keep trying for another season, so to speak, or year or month.
I think we're not flipping quickly enough.
Right.
In most cases, like the reference before I said, it's like most venues don't have the capital, time, team to be able to, and energy, to be honest, to go, let's go again and change. And sometimes that's because of time. It's gone too long in its current state to not allow that to happen. And again, going back to that idea of failing and the art of failing, it's if you're not comfortable in that sense of, you know what, that didn't work, let's, hate to use the term, pivot.
Pivot,
then you get stuck in we're just going to have to close. So if we are able to stomach the idea that things change, which the article alludes to in some sense, that we are starting to think about even building restaurants in ways that aren't too fixed, which I definitely think is a great thing. But at the same time, when I was reading it, I was like, it's a shame as well, because it means we have less opportunity for people just to go all in on shit. Like the all in idea is when places like Attica exist. Like Attica wasn't successful for 10 years. Like that idea of that sort of restaurant to exist now is so far from possible for so many people. Yeah,
because does that person exist as well?
And the person to like just be lashed and just be like, oh, this is still not working. It's still not working. It's still not working. And be like, well, I'm just going to push through. And we would be a better industry creatively if we were able to do that. But unfortunately, given the market we're in and the realities of what it costs to run a business now, it's essentially impossible unless you have a lot of capital behind you to bankroll, as long as it takes to be successful, which is the 0.0%, 0.1% of people.
Let's talk on the creative bit that you said there, like that suggests product and offering and probably that's one that's relatively easy to flip around.
The product
when
offering,
you've got the fundamental problems of the space didn't work, the fit out we didn't get right, the kitchen's too small, the location isn't good, whatever. It feels like from a creative perspective and an offering and a product perspective, that's the adjust. Yeah.
I mean, it is the easiest, but also can be the hardest as well, because if you're a chef that has made pasta their whole life,
that's it. And there's an assumption
we're opening a pasta restaurant and it didn't work. Not to say that they can't cook other things, but that's their life's work. So to change it to something else is quite a hard task. However, if you have a bit more broader experience and you've worked in a bunch of different styles of restaurants, maybe you've got more ability to do it. Or you could learn it really quick. And, there's people that have opened pizza shops and never been Italy or never even cooked a pizza before, and they're great. So, people can venture well outside of the box that they put themselves in and really colour outside the lines to create something great. And it can work. But again, like the risk factor goes up if you haven't had that experience in that cuisine.
There was an interesting point of setting yourself up in the initial stages of planning to be able to make a pivot at some point.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really interesting way to approach a business from the very beginning. Like, be okay. Like, we're going to go all out on this concept.
Yeah.
But we have in the back of our heads and maybe on paper as a contingency to be able to know that we have the ability to adjust. Yeah.
And my brain literally splits in two when I read that, of like, that's really smart, and I love that, because you give yourself the ability to adjust if needed.
Does compromise come into play?
Yeah, then the other side goes, it's such a shame we have to think like that.
Yeah.
Right? because it, as I said before, it lacks the ability to go all in on an idea. And when you're not all in on an idea, it can show up in the execution of that idea, in the product, in the service delivery, in the, if I want to open a Thai restaurant and we want to do like 4 curries and super traditional, and we're gonna make curry paste to order, like we're gonna go full David Thompson mode, right? But then the reality of doing that, if you're ready to retrofit it into something else, just gets diminished straight away.
Yeah.
So then it has the potential to make the concept you start with potentially not as good as what it could be either.
Yeah.
So it's just this real tension in my mind of the commerciality over creativity.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
so it's obviously that the market is sort of dictating that to a degree. Is like the degree at which you can succeed is diminished in the market that we're in now.
Yeah.
So you've got to be you've got to really nail it and nail that product market fit that you've spoken about so much in
100%. I think it's like, for me, understanding why the first thing didn't work, and a lot of the time it's product market fit related, and then being able to, whatever you go into next, is understanding, well, okay, what does it need to be to achieve product market fit? What does the head spend need to be? I think that was referenced in the article for one of the flips. It's like, we just needed a higher head spend. We're getting enough bums on seats, but we couldn't crack that magical $45 or $50 or whatever the number needs to be with the current product. So we need to adjust it to get that extra drink sale to hit that, right? So going back and having a bit of a post-mortem is great to be able to then understand what you need to hit. But I would also say that even going into the venue before it has to flip is doing a pre-mortem. Going, well, what are the things that could go wrong? And understanding those, because a lot of the time it might tease out where you're slightly missing on product market fit.
Yeah. I did also feel like the cost of a reboot was a bit downplayed, both from a financial perspective and the rest.
Yeah.
Like the cost of the public's perception of whether you give this person a second chance with their new concept. Has it been tainted already? Like you've got to be I feel like you've got to be really good at being able to do the reboot successfully.
Yeah, I think a lot of people hide, but don't want to talk about the failure piece. Whereas I think now we're in a world of, like, there's a lot of transparency that kind of naturally happens through media and socials and that sort of thing now. So it's really hard to come out, if it was 20 years ago and you were changing something, you just say, oh, we've decided to shut down and try something different. It would kind of be left at that.
Yeah. If
you did that today, people read between the lines pretty quickly. And I think there is that sense of, do I give them another shot, or being tainted by failure and that sort of thing. I think there's less and less people in that vein, like the new generation coming through that are going to rule the world very soon, Gen Z. I don't think they think about it in that way like our generation does. And the idea of giving someone another shot is totally on the table. But yeah, like the overly sort of touching on before, like the cost of doing so, cost of public perception, but also actual physical cost of rebooting a venue can be.
There's a lot in there.
It's like it could be another 20% on top of what you've already paid to get the first thing open. And again, a lot of people don't have that ability to spend that money.
Do you have a great example on the best pivot you've seen? Because I was really racking
going
my brains.
into this, I'm like, I've got to have like a couple of examples here.
I felt like the same, yeah.
And I couldn't come up with one that I was like, that's the one to point to. Certainly, and I specifically say that in the same operator, in the same space, changing the concept completely.
Yes.
Not, slightly adjusting the concept, or it's still the same brand, same style of food, and they've just adjusted a few things. Certainly not that. And then certainly not the idea of that venue closes and a different operator comes in, does something completely different, because we see that all the time. And there's endless examples of those that have been successful. And I feel like what we're not thinking about, haven't touched on yet, is the idea of the space might just be wrong.
Yeah.
To have a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
when you put all the pieces together of the puzzle of how much is the rent, how many seats does it actually have, how big can the kitchen really be, what parameters are in place for success or failure, and no matter what level of restaurant you're putting in there, there's just for some reason a cap on the amount of people that come.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, is that because of location? Is that because of the demographic in that location? There's all these factors at work that are swirling around the venue, and you could change the pieces of the puzzle 10 times in terms of what the venue is or the concept is, and it might not just work. It might not work because of the other reasons, not because of the product that you're putting through there or the brand. And I think that's a big thing to look at generally when coming out of reading this article. It's like, well, maybe the venue in the back streets that has 250 covers and a high rent might not be right.
Yeah.
And making that call and being like, is it actually right to keep it? Right. Which is really difficult to swallow. Like it's difficult to swallow. Be like, you know what? No matter what goes in here, it's not going to work because of these factors.
Yeah.
So, I think for me is like taking a step back and a big step back sometimes outside of concept and going, are those fundamentals right to make this venue work? And some people get stuck in the situation where, they signed this 3 years ago and it's taken a while to open because the landlord took ages to finish the building it was going into, all these factors. Yeah. And the market conditions have completely shifted since then. And all these factors happen, and then you still have to open that venue. So you're kind of stuck at the same time with like, oh, fuck, we still have to open this big venue, potentially in the wrong spot, blah, blah, blah. And the market's completely changed.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I think you do also, like from the outside in, we're making some pretty grand assumptions on why people decided to pivot quite often, like unless people are really upfront about why they're doing it. And so without being able to look under the hood, you're making some pretty grand guesses as to why they decided to do it in the end as well.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where, I don't want to say the media has a responsibility too, blah, 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 but the perception of the whole concept of failure and pivoting and whatever, the messaging and comms around that seem to be so crucial. And
they are really crucial. And unfortunately, no matter how you sculpt it, and you might have the best PR agency or in-house PR to do that with you.
Are you polishing a turd?
Or for us, you've got you got Lauren in our team to do that. You could have the best, but as soon as media catch a sniff that something's closing, the headline will be Michael Bichetta closes this restaurant or whatever. It's going to be about closure. It's not going to. The headline's not going to be new venue opening and then give the context. It's always. Because in like how humans work and how social media is now programmed us is like we are looking for negativity. It's negativity bias. Like we're more likely to click on a slightly negative title than we are on a positive, right?
Yeah.
And it's always been the way in pre-socials. Like the news is full of bad stories.
Oh, don't watch the news.
Right. Like imagine back then when we used to watch the news. Fucking hell, like no wonder we're all cooked.
Yeah.
Like we grew up with the news on of like
they had
wild shit, and now it's progressed into social media, and we're seeing like war live. It's fucked.
Yeah.
So we're always programmed to look for.
Let's keep it light, MB.
Yeah, sorry, guys. But that's where our brains go, and media will go for that because they know that the article will be opened at least, and then it goes into the context of the why of the shift, and I think for me it's just like not. Talking about sculpting the right PR message. It's like, you know what? Just probably the most transparency is the best.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to have that negative connotation on it anyway. You may as well open up and go, you know what?
People can understand it a fraction.
We got it wrong.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we can't gloss over is, and I sort of touched on it briefly, but is the general market conditions we're working in now.
Yeah.
And it's just like the margins are so thin and to be able to, throw shade at anyone that has a crack at changing is just like, it's so nonsensical to me.
Totally.
It's just like, this is the hardest it's ever been.
Yeah.
And like, why are we getting shirty about people making that call? Oh yeah, I knew that wasn't going to work and blah, blah, blah.
Know,
it's
yeah,
like, well,
yeah.
fucking
High
well
horse,
done.
yeah.
They thought it was going to, hence why they did it.
Yeah.
And now they're having a crack at something else. And
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just like, I think that level of support I'd love to see go up in, people say the hospitality community, but that's lacking, right? Community is lacking. There's certainly pockets and friendship groups and all that sort of stuff within our industry that people probably relate community to. But as a whole community, I think we can all do better in this space of supporting the venues that aren't going so well and being like, yeah, they didn't get it right, but fuck, they're having another crack. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And being okay with, again, going back to it, like being okay with failure because it's rife in our industry anyway.
Yeah.
May as well embrace it.
Do you have any examples from your Bar Liberty, Capitano, Falco days of moments where you're like, we need to change what we're doing? I mean, even what's this, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
When did you
Liberty?
Yeah. It was completely different then. So it's difficult to compare
it just
to
morphed.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we opened it as Bar Liberty because we wanted to open a bar.
Yeah.
And people were eating every dish on the menu because they wanted to eat. And we didn't have a big menu. And it was suddenly like, oh, the food and bev split. Oh, we're a restaurant. Like, shit. So we better have more food.
Lean into it.
So the menu, double. Like I was not long ago looking at the original menu and then looking at where it ended up, and it's double in size. Well, that's pretty wild. That's
cool.
a double in size menu from day one. Like, that's how much, like, the market tells you, right, what they want. So making that adjustment really quickly, we could have been really staunch, be like, nope, we're a bar.
We're a bar. Yeah.
Bad luck. But that would have been to the detriment of the business. It's
Yeah.
like, people want to eat, give them food.
Yeah.
Which encouraged drinking. So we were okay, headspin wise. I mean, early doors of Capitano was a different problem. It was people thought they were getting an Italian Bar Liberty when we opened. And that was
really?
probably a poor framing from us. Like, at the end of the day, people are going to relate it because it's our other venue. And we had a heap of complaints because we were really busy and we were brisk in the way we did service, which was the whole point of that place. We wanted to pour wine by the glass behind the bar, not at the table. We were putting the bottle of water on the table, not topping it up really. All these sort of like touch points to make it more casualised. But then the response was like, oh, it's not quite as good as Bar Liberty, is it? It's like, yeah, it's Capitano.
Yeah.
It's a pizza joint. And I think a bit of that was like just letting go, shedding the skin a bit.
Yeah.
And then being okay with that as well and going, people are just going to have to settle into the fact that this is different, which definitely happened. But it was also a bit of us understanding how to execute a casualised level of service that was still slick and didn't feel sloppy. And after going through that process and really nailing that, like we lost money the first few months in that venue. I was like, shit, like we're not doing well here. And it was, I think 3 months in or 4 months in, the tide turned really quickly after we were able to settle in and really create a style of service that we're really happy to meet and the customers and guests were really stoked to receive. And it all kind of took off from there.
So you stuck with it though?
We stuck with it a bit, yeah. And we kind of had, we didn't really have much of it.
Well, we didn't have any more
And it was
ideas.
and it was so new, like only a few months in, we weren't going to throw the towel in, certainly.
But we're talking about here of, like, you're talking about doing it quick. What's quick?
Quick if it's falling off a cliff.
Yeah.
But we weren't. Like, we were certainly losing money, but it was like a time.
Slightly dicey.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was dicey for sure because Bar Liberty was just covering the end. But, and that, again, that's a privilege.
Yeah.
But we knew that it's like the product is awesome. But we just need to iron out the kinks.
So you didn't panic?
We didn't panic, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I panicked. I mean, I was actually stuck at Liberty the whole time this was happening because we had a manager leave when we opened Capitano. So I was
Manager from Liberty.
From Liberty. So it went from me spending half my week at the new venue at Cap to me being like, well, I'm just stuck at Liberty. So I'm going to have to be okay with that. Yeah. And it took me a while to be able to then get over and be there a bit more. But yeah, I was kind of at arm's length from some of it. So it was really hard to be like, fuck, we're not doing as well over there. I wish I was doing service and all sort of stuff. So there's other factors that come into play as to why something might not be executed.
There's so much nuance and complexity to all of this. And we're getting a real look in now. But
man, like when we opened Liberty, Casey wasn't even there because he was stuck at Rockwell because I shit you not, he had 3 chefs in the lead up to us opening Liberty from Rockwell injure themselves on their bikes. Oh. One was car doored, one was hit by a car, and the other one I can't remember, like broken bone stuff. Like how can you fucking plan for that?
Well, you shouldn't be hiring 3 cyclists.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What an idiot.
Yeah, that's a big. Well, he's a cyclist. So that's a disaster.
Exactly.
So it just meant he had to be at Cap, and it's like we had, thankfully, Joel. I nearly said Joel Edgerton. I was like, imagine
that'd be cool. Yeah, a bit of celebrity.
Yeah, Joel Alderdice, who's out at Emerald City in Hillsville now, heading up the kitchen and fucking don't know how he did it, but bloody hell he got through and put up some amazing food. Yeah. Even in the absence of Casey. So shit happens on the lead up to venues opening. So that might mean you don't actually have the team to execute that you wish you had. Right. And that can be a huge contributing factor to the reason why that might not be successful or not. Because those first impressions from media, from your first guests, they are so important. Yeah. Because you only get one crack at opening and if something's happened, meaning that one of the owners isn't there because of whatever reason, or your key staff member falls ill or can't start or whatever. I've seen every version of this. It has such a huge impact on what actually happens. So I think we have to give venue operators a lot of credit 100%. to even get the doors open. And as I said, you get one shot at giving it. You have one crack at it. Yeah. And I think if you go to a venue within the first couple of weeks and it was good, but you were like, it wasn't amazing. It's like, man, give it another few weeks. And there's the arguments like, well, you're charging full price. It should be great. It's like, I mean, it should be. But as we know, venues are such like moving beasts. Give it another crack in a month or 2 months and then make your the call whether you like the place or not.
Yep. No, good. Anything else?
Nah, I think that was all right. I hope everyone, we blabbered on it there a bit.
Of course we did.
And got off track. But I think overall, Take 2, great article. As I said, read it thoroughly. It's worth it. And
pivot if you need to pivot.
You just do it.
Just change it up.
Yeah.
But don't as well. Keep it the same and really stick with it.
This is a convoluted conversation.
It's all over the shop. Well, no, I don't think so.
I think it's good.
Like it's complex and we fumbled away through the complexities of it all.
Thanks, mate. Always a pleasure.
Beautiful. See you, everyone. Have a good Friday.
Cheers.